So we just finished launching this brand new sales page, a complete funnel, actually, with a new client in a new niche with a new product. And so I'll walk you through everything, what we did end to end, how we thought about the strategy, how we were going to launch it through social media, through email, copy that we did, the design elements that we did for the sales page and for the promotional graphics, and probably other things that I'm forgetting. But anyway, in this video, we're going to look at the whole end to end of what we did with Kevin here. And I hope you're going to be able to take away a couple of things from this. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. First off, when working with a client, we figure out what our strategy is going to look like. So first thing determining that is the outcome. What's the end goal that we're looking for? And so for Kevin, he wanted sales, of course, just early sales. He wasn't looking for any big numbers, but he did want a few customers. And that was going to be driven from monetizing his existing audience. And so he had quite a fair following on social media. So I believe he had 7K on IG, and on X, he had about 5K, or Twitter, if you want to call it that. And so that's fine. That was the outcome. And then the way we went about a strategy was then dictated by that. So we knew that he had an audience we wanted to monetize. So we were going to have to do social graphics, statics, carousels, stories, etc. That was going to be part of it to activate his audience. We were also, of course, going to have a sales funnel. So the page that you saw at the beginning here of this video. So a product sales page. And then, of course, some kind of conversion sequence for people who come to the website but perhaps don't buy, or even those who do buy. And so that was going to be email. So we needed a abandoned cart sequence and a post-purchase sequence. So that was kind of the bulk of what we were doing. And from there, then we could get into the details of how exactly we would do these things. So now that we knew the scope of the project, our job then was to just set about the structure of the sales page. So how many pages would we have in this funnel, and what information would we need to be put on each page too? And so because this was just a single course, there were no upsells or order bumps. It was relatively a straightforward funnel. It was just going to be a 3-page funnel. So we would have the front end sales page, which would do all the heavy lifting, which I'll get onto in a minute. We also added a pop-up, which would take the name and the email address and then pre-populate that on the checkout form. So this is an innovation that we've come up with that allows us to grab information, of course, grab a lead, but also carry on with the sales journey. So the information they give in the pop-up would then also act as a sticky contact into the order form. So it's pre-populated, ready for them to check out. And so that was page 2. And then finally, on the final page of this funnel, it would just be a thank you page. And the thank you page would have a little video, perhaps some confetti, and just information on next steps, because this was a pre-sale funnel. So we did still need to reassure them like, okay, you've paid, thank you, but here's what you can expect coming in the next week or so. Of course, it's not yet ready, but we are preparing for it to be released on X date. And so that was kind of the gist of all of the 3 pages. And so let's get into the front end page, because that was the main piece of this whole funnel. And so it was a case of taking everything that we knew that we needed to give information wise, but presenting it in a structure that was logical and met the customer or the prospect where they were. So we started off with a video on the lander, and right now as we speak, we're split testing this. So we've got a video that is an AI voiceover, and we've also got a video of Kevin just explaining those same words. And so it just sets the scene as to why the course was created, what's the subject matter of the course, etc. So that's the video on the lander. We also had an announcement bar, a sticky announcement bar on the front end page, which gave information around a coupon and a deadline as well. So this was, of course, to increase urgency, but also to make it feel like it was a bit of a deal that they would get, make the people who are seeing this page for the first time feel a little bit special and just give them the extra encouragement to purchase. We also had elements around like the benefits. So what you can expect from an emotive, transformational point of view when you take on the course. We also had a course curriculum, so a breakdown of like what is included in each of the 3 modules. So module names and the sub-lessons in each of those modules. We had a section on Kevin as well. So get to know who your teacher is, what his credentials are, why he's qualified to teach the course and what he's done before. And then we also had a FAQ section. So, people obviously had questions around pre-sale and like ownership of the course, how long they've got access to it, etc. So we always make sure we cover that towards the end. And of course, we need a guarantee of some kind. So we had that as well. So I think we used a 7-day guarantee and a module 1 consumption. So meaning if they've watched all of module 1 and it's within 7 days, so either or, we were happy to give a refund. And so, yeah, that seemed to work just fine. And then once this was clear, we agreed it with Kevin. We then went about the design process. So we broke design down into 3 major elements. So the palettes, the visual assets, and the fonts. And so palette, what we mean by this is just the colors that we would use, making sure that they complement one another, that they don't clash, that there's good contrast, and of course that they link to the subject matter. And in this case, it was an easy one to do because the subject matter was FC Barcelona, the football club. Their colors are very distinctive, blue and red. So that was easy enough. Visual assets, we mean here anything that is informational that we can convey in a visual way, in an illustration or an icon. And then finally, fonts is just the typefaces. So we had 2, a body font and a headline font. And again, we tried to reference what we could with Barcelona. So that kind of provided some guidelines there. And so let me walk you through how I started to do this. So as I said, the palette was just a case of referencing Barcelona. So you can see here just on their homepage, it's just a case of how do we create this red and blue combination in our palette. And I wanted to use it as the main background. And so what I did simply was to just go to ChatGPT and start iterating with the image generator and to create the kind of look I wanted. So using the blue and red idea that I had, I managed to first generate this. Wasn't quite what I wanted. So again, just referencing it. So click here into the image and then it allows you to describe exactly what you want, referencing that image. I wanted to have some kind of hexagon or triangular patterns just because that again was the nature of the subject. The philosophy, the triangular patterns of play, if you're a football fan, you'll know what I'm talking about, that are linked to the Barca way. And so I referenced this image, which I just found from a Google image search, and then it came out with this. And I iterated a little bit more, but it actually got worse. It created waves, which I didn't like, and then it just went into a check, kind of a bit too rigid for my liking. So we ended up with this image was something that we used as the background. So that was the palette starting to take shape. And so after the palette was established, it was a case of then finding out how we would go about making our 3D icons. And so I simply like to go to Behance. It's a great place to start your design inspiration. And I typed in 3D icon pack. And from there, no particular scientific process to this, but it's just a case of getting inspiration. So looking at what there is that caught the eye, and then just using that again into ChatGPT to iterate and find something unique and custom. And so what I can do is show you what I did with my unique iteration to get the icon packs that we did. I just took this image as a reference. I think this might have actually just been from an image search. And I asked it to model it and give it a neon glow, a green glow. And so it ended up with this, and this was really good. The problem is we can't use assets depicting Barcelona in this case because it would violate copyright. So we used it as a reference and kept iterating. But you could see I had that idea locked in. I really liked it and I went deeper with it. So this idea of like a neon glass-like glow was where I went. And So we started making custom design icons for each of the different value propositions that you would learn in the course. So yeah, we came up with this sort of network node, iterated again to make it slightly different, slightly thinner. We made a chess piece, a knight. We made referencing some stairs to show a pathway. We made these stairs. And I think we even made tactics board as well. So we managed to just create these custom images, and they all come out really nice, transparent, PNG, ready to pop straight into the web page. And so the final thing was to just finalize the font. And so going again back to Barcelona and looking for some reference points, you can see their headline font's quite unique and distinct. And it is actually a custom font, but it is very similar to what is freely available. So we did manage to find something that looked really similar and imported it into the project. And we used that as the main headline font. And then the body font, it's not anything too special. It's just a sans serif font. And so that was fine. And so that was it. We managed to have clear palette. Our visual identity was distinct and custom in terms of its assets that we built. And then the fonts were, again, referenced from Barcelona, a headline font and a sans serif body font. And so with those elements, we could start building. So when it comes to software, there are a million ways to go about it. You might have your website with Squarespace or Wix. You might have your email marketing with MailChimp, your courses with Kajabi, right? You might have a Frankenstein stack, as I would call that. And I've been there. I've had that as well. But what we've done over the years is simplify and bring everything into one place. And so the software stack that we now have is just one. We just have Go High Level. And so you may have heard of that. You may not have. But for those of you who have not heard it, I'll just give you a quick explanation as to why we chose it to be kind of the centerpiece of our business. Effectively, it's just a consolidation of all of the different softwares that you would have. And it gets rid of that Frankenstein stack and just has everything in one place. And so you can see here, I'm not going to read it out, but all of the different features that you would have in a B2B, business to business operation, or even B2C, selling to consumers. Everything is taken care of in Go High Level. And so how does this work with us? And when you come to enlist us to do your website or your funnel, for example. So what we say is, if you want to keep your courses and your email marketing and your, all the different places and tools that you're using as you are, you can do that, and that's fine. And we want, that doesn't conflict with what we do. However, the website and the funnel, when we work with you, that's hosted on Go High Level. That's our tool. So you can choose to host it on your own sub account on Go High Level, and that would cost you, as it says here, $97 a month. Or for an additional $100 a month, you can host it with us. So $197 a month. And with that, you'll get unlimited design and development requests. So if you ever wanted to change something on your website, you want to change the design or the fonts or you want to add an animation or something, you can do that. And also you've got access to all of our automations that have been battle tested and custom built throughout the years. So that's all available to you as well when you work with us. And of course, the bonus is you get consulting with us as well. So if you've got any business questions, design, development questions, anything, you can always talk to us and we'll be there asynchronously to guide you and support you. So there you go. That's our software stack. So now we'll talk about what we did with Kevin's course to promote it. So we'll talk about the social media graphics and stories we did, and also the email sequences that we did for both abandoned cart, for those who didn't purchase, of course, and post-purchase email sequences too. All right, so on to the marketing. So there's 3 sections I want to cover in this particular part. So what we did for Instagram, how we linked it to YouTube, what we did there, and then how we announced this to the email list as well. So this course actually was a collaboration course between Coaches Club Academy, which is a general coach education company here, and Kevin. So this particular series of posts that I created on Instagram, these were, again, linked to the course, but the idea here was that everything that you see visually on each page is something that the person clicking into the link in bio, would see on this sales page. So all of the information, all of the color, all of the visual elements, etc., it's all supposed to be very much aligned. So the journey is they're not gonna be thrown off when they land on the sales page, basically. So that was that. And we created a highlight as well, which contained posts from Kevin as well as our direct posts. One of them was linked to pushing a clip of the full course, just a 2-minute clip. Here it is, pushing to YouTube. And so this now starts the series of getting them onto YouTube. And this particular post here that Kevin posted was a 2-minute clip that we made exclusively just to get people wanting to watch the YouTube. So to clarify, this is a 2-minute clip of the YouTube clip. Okay. So that's that. So let me show you the YouTube redesign that we did. So you can see they had a constant style going on here, 4 years. So this is obviously a channel that is rebooting back. And so we made a new style of thumbnail. We kind of looked at what was popular on the market and we went with this style. And so that has, done really well. It's got 800 views in the first couple of days. We were responsible for the YouTube title and the description, etc. So it's come out really well. And so finally, the part to show you about emails is next. And so this is what we ended up with. Just a real simple plain text email, just building up to the video clip on YouTube, and just sharing that this is a free preview of what they can expect on the course. And just also announcing the fact that for the next 3 days, the people on the email list have got access to an extra additional 50 euros off, I think it was, using the code subscriber to redeem at checkout. And so there we have it. So just to recap, we had the Instagram carousels and story posts and the highlight, of course, rounding it all together. We had the YouTube thumbnail, the video post, and the preview clip to promote the YouTube. And then we finally had the series of emails going out to the existing subscribers of the Coach Club Academy that promoted that YouTube clip. Okay, so let's summarize what we did for Kevin and what we ended up with. So we had 3 pages that we were going to do. So a front end, a pop-up that would bridge to the checkout page, and then a thank you page. So I'll just quickly show you what we ended up with. So this is the front end with all the assets and all the copy that we spoke about. Little video preview. Who is this course not for? Who is this for? Get started in 3 simple steps, a little countdown timer, and some FAQs. And of course, a little guarantee as well. All of the buttons, when clicked, would show this pop-up, in which would then bridge to the checkout page here. And this was the final design of the checkout page, just reiterating what they're going to get. And then, of course, we just had a very simple thank you page, which just summarized the order details and when to expect the next communication. And so that was the funnel. Then we covered design. And so we spoke about how we had the palette reference from Barcelona. We made custom design assets inspired by things that we saw in Behance. And then we just paired together a simple sans serif body font with again, Barcelona referenced headline font. And so that was pretty much the bulk of the design. And then we just rounded up with the marketing. So we just touched on it a few minutes ago. So the Instagram, we had a carousel, a few stories, the YouTube. So we edited a clip of module 1, put it on YouTube. And then we did a series of emails. So we had a pre-launch sequence, and you can see some of that in this video. And so that's everything. Funnels, design, marketing, all end-to-end. And we've ended up with this. So if this is something that you'd like to explore and you want to get in touch with us, I'll leave the links in the description. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.